Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome back to QuixPack. So in between episodes I've done just a little bit of stuff. I have put the chickens into a much safer spot. I had the nest up here so that when the chicks would hatch they would try to get to the adults and fall down into the bottom. That allows me to be able to put in eggs without having to worry about the adult chickens getting away. And we have gotten a fair amount of eggs and manure already. So that's working good. Now one thing that I forgot to do in the last episode was to do this egg nest quest. So we're going to go ahead and get that real quick here. Is this going to work? No, this one isn't going to work either. Well, that's no good. So I will be putting the nest back up there in a little bit. But the big thing for this episode is we are finally going to start building. So I have designed out what I want the base of my base to look like, the base of the base. And I am going to be centering it around this point. Now this is not exactly the center of the island, but it's fairly close, and it also happens to correspond with the shaft that I have going down to the bottom of the world for mining. So that's where the center is going to be. And yeah, I think I'm about ready to start building this. Now, the way that this base is going to be is 3 circles that all intersect at this point. So I think this should look pretty cool. We're going to have some hexagons involved in it as well. So we're going to have circles for the outside, hexagons for the inside. And I think it should look pretty neat. But one thing that I did realize in laying it out is that I don't have nearly enough marble. So the marble we are going to have to use for certain locations, but we're going to have to be relying heavily on diorite and another block that I haven't shown, and I cannot remember where I put it, but it is concrete. It might be over here. No, I cannot remember for the life of me where I put it. I had several blocks of concrete available, but the way that we make concrete, it was with clay, gravel, sand, and a water bucket. I guess sand is in this one. Here, let's grab that. So we have our stuff there. Then we need our water bucket. Oh, there's the concrete. So this concrete, you make the wet concrete powder, and then you put that in the furnace, and it cooks it into this. Now, that's a fairly good looking block, if you ask me, for a white. Now, we're supposed to be able to color these, but I can't seem to get it to work. It says it's supposed to be dyed like leather armor, and then one thing that I saw was that you're supposed to wrap the concrete around paper. So you're supposed to be able to do this, and that's supposed to make it the dyeable concrete, or you can dye it, and it doesn't seem to work. So I don't know what's going on with that, but the concrete itself doesn't look too bad. So I think we'll be using this stuff quite a bit, as well as the marble and the diorite. And I have a lot of this stuff to make, and this is where this pitcher plant is going to come in really handy. So what I'll do is I'll set this down, and let's just see. We can grab a... No. Wrong. Okay, so let's see. Where did that all pull torches from? We'll just place some torches back down here. There we go. But yeah, I've got a lot of concrete to make up. Now, I believe we get 16 concrete per recipe here. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of crafting and cooking of these items. And then I'm going to start building. And hopefully when I come back, I will have a bit of progress to show you guys. So a big problem that I saw coming was getting clay. And I was looking for clay, and I noticed that we have Claycraft. There's this raw clay which is made with sand, gravel, and dirt. And I didn't know what to do with this stuff, but it turns out it's very simple. So you place it next to water and it will slowly turn it into clay. So that is really nice. It's a very simple solution, and it, yeah, you can see it made a whole bunch of clay there. So this has been working very good for me, and I currently have, well, pushing close to 5 stacks of clay. So we should be good on that. The next thing is figuring out how I can make this wet clay that I've been cooking a little bit easier, because sitting there going back and forth with a bucket is really a pain in the butt. But I do have the clay available now, and I can make as much of this as I want. So I will try to figure out now how to get the concrete, and then I will be back. Oh, that is not good. So after a little bit of thinking about how to make this wet concrete, I decided we would do some stuff with extra utilities. Now, a couple of these things are going to be in our quest book, so we'll have to look these up here in just a little bit. But first off, we are going to need a mechanical user, which do require these resonating redstone crystals. Now, these things you get periodically by mining redstone. I had 8 of them, so they're not overly common, but you do get them from time to time. Then we also need the mechanical crafter, and then we are going to need some piping. Now, I already made a recipe of this, and so I'm not going to bother making another because I don't see a need for more than 64 of the transfer pipes at the moment. But we do need to make the transfer node, which requires the transfer pipe. And this is a pretty simple recipe. We'll get 4 transfer nodes out of that, and then we need 2 filters to go in those transfer nodes. Now, this is actually a very simple setup to do. So what we're going to do, this is very similar to what I had for Botania in, what was it, Beyond, FTB Beyond. So we are going to place the mechanical user here, and we're going to place the pitcher plant in front of it. We're going to place an empty bucket in it. We're going to set this to activate block with the item, and you can see there now we have a full water bucket. So now what we're going to do, we're going to pull this out manually. We are going to place a node on the side of it. We're going to place a filter in here, and we want to filter this for, oh, whoops. We want to right-click our filter, and we want to whitelist a full water bucket. So now if we put this filter in here, and we drop our water bucket in, we should see it go into the node. So now let's just try this. If we place our water in there and drop this in, it fills and then it pulls out. So that's perfect. Next, we will place a transfer node right here, and then we're going to place our mechanical crafter right here. So that will go in there. We then need our clay, sand, and gravel. So we're going to pull a bunch of this stuff. My inventory is clogged. Let me drop off a little of this junk. Too much junk. Okay, that should be a little better. So we need some clay. So we'll place some of this stuff in here. The clay, the gravel, the sand. And so we will set up our recipe. Clay, sand, gravel, and a water bucket. And this is always on, so now we have an empty water bucket and 16 wet concrete. So now we are going to need another transfer node here to pull out the empty bucket. So same thing again, right click. We are going to whitelist the empty bucket, place this in here. Immediately we see the wet concrete stops coming out. We'll drop in the empty bucket. It is now in here. Then we will connect this. That's not going to work. So we'll have to go up and over. So there we go. Now the empty bucket should end up in here. It will cycle back around once it's full, and then we'll have a full water bucket in here. We'll end up with more wet concrete, and the cycle just continues over and over and over. So we are now making our wet concrete without any issue, and that makes me really happy. So now all that I need to do is have the wet concrete pulled out with another filter and shoved into our furnaces or into something else. But for the time being, I'm just going to pull this stuff out manually. But yeah, we now have automation of the construction of wet concrete, which is very important considering this is one of the 3 circles. And all 3 circles will be visible. And you can see this thing is huge. It's actually a 63 diameter circle. Very large. So yeah, I have a lot of concrete to make, a lot of concrete to place, and hopefully here in a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to do the stupid quests. So, yep, well, after this gets done, we'll pull these items up and we'll get our quests taken care of. So, yep, I will be back in a little bit. So from up here, we can kind of start to get an idea of what I've got in mind for this base. So this is the main outside of the base. There is going to be a second circle put inside of each of these by a few blocks, and then a hexagon on each one of those. And the buildings, or the walls, I guess, will be the hexagons. So there's going to be circular balconies with a hexagon shape on the inside. And I'm not sure if we're going to use the entire hexagon for the buildings or what. That's going to be something I'll kind of try to figure out as I go along. But another thing is, wow, that squid shot up a long way. Another thing is I intend to make this base multiple levels. So we'll have to see how that goes. But it seems like everything is working really good for the clay and concrete production. So I went ahead and put down some water here so that I could easily drop down. But we need to pick up this water here, and then we're going to just go like this. And watch as all of that sand disappears. There's nothing more satisfying than watching something like that. So there we go, an entire stack of sand picked up. So I still have a lot of stuff to do here, but we have almost an entire small storage crate of wet concrete now. The furnaces cannot even come close to keeping up. And what I'm going to do is set this other small one here to put the hardened concrete in. So I have a lot of stuff to do there yet, but I am finally out of clay. So yeah, we have everything that we can make at the moment, and we'll just have to see how much of that we need, because we will have to have some other colors to differentiate a few different areas within these circles. So yeah, I'll have to do a little bit of experimentation, see what colors look good. But yeah, this is huge. It's gonna be huge, it's gonna feel huge, and I'm sure plenty of you are gonna say, why? Well, we'll see what it looks like when it's done, but I think it's gonna look pretty cool. So I'm gonna keep working on this, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Well, I have been working on this for a little while, and I now have a couple of these rings thickened out, and I'm not really sure I like the way that it looks at the intersections. I was kind of hoping to have them overlapping a little bit further. I don't really want to have to tear this all back down though, because there is a lot of work involved here. So I don't know for sure what I want to do with that. I'll ask you guys what you think I should do. But I think I'm going to try working on some other things right now. And one thing that I heard from Quix was that to update our quest book, we have to do a command. Now, I don't know for sure if this one's going to be fixed or not with that. But let's go ahead and try what he said. So what he said to do was put in /BQ_admin default, if I can spell here, and then load. So we'll see if this works. Okay, I don't have permission for this command, so I am going to have to open this to LAN and allow cheats. So let's see. Okay, so we now have the default quest database reloaded. So let's just check here. So right here, yeah, so now our quest is updated here. It no longer says stuff about the laser creepers from space. So let's try and see if we can actually make a couple of our quests work now. So our coal generator is empty of power, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now let's just see here. Can we make this work? No, that one still does not work. So we should have a few things changed here. Yeah, the quest that required us to have chisel is now gone. So I don't understand what's going on with this coal generator, why this won't work. But now that we have the building part of it straightened out, I guess we'll take a look at this. So we have the X-Tone quest here, and X-Tones is actually a port of the mod called Z-Tones, ported with permission from the original developer. There are a lot of interesting textures this mod has to offer in a lot of different colors. So we need to make 16 X-Tone tiles. So let's see if we can figure out how to make those. So we need to make these. Okay, well that's just stone slabs and a piece of smooth stone. That is pretty simple. Keep getting those weird lag spikes. I have no idea what is causing that. Like I say, I'm pretty sure it has to do with the squid spawning. So, yeah, just might have to live with that for the time being. But we need 16 of these. Go ahead and grab the rest of that. And let's detect these. And it doesn't look like it's working again. Yeah. Well, there is definitely something wrong with this quest book. I'm not sure what is going on with that, because I mean, we definitely have those 16 X-Tone tiles. So I don't know what is going on there. Let's take a look at some others and see what we can figure out. Power is still locked out. Inventory management, we can do some of these, but we don't quite have enough. But I suppose one thing we could do is these basic backpacks. So better than a boring golden bag anyway. So the backpacks require, and we'll just look this up here real quick. The iron backpacks, they require leather. Now one thing that we can do with leather is we can turn rotten flesh into leather. So I have made a little bit of leather doing this, but what you do is you place rotten flesh in front of the atomic reconstructor and it will turn a portion of that rotten flesh into leather. So we do have a little of that. The other things that we need is a chest and some wool. Now we do have a little bit of wool. We have quite a bit of string, so we shouldn't have any problems with that. And then we need the chests. So let's go ahead and make up a couple of backpacks. So we have 2 of those. So let's see if this quest will work. Okay, so that works. We'll claim our basic bag and we'll see what we get out of this. So the basic bag here, we get some coal, glass, and some more pulverized under iron. That's pretty nice. So let's go ahead and drop this glass off here. Alright, well, we're getting closer. So now the next quests in these require us to make 1 backpack with the upgrade emphasis and 1 with the storage emphasis. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We need 1 with the storage upgrade and 1 with the upgrade, upgrade. So the storage upgrade, we're going to need an upgrade core and emeralds. Oh boy, emeralds. So I think for that, we're going to have to go and get some villagers. So that is the upgrade, the storage. Okay, how do we do the storage upgrade? I think that one just takes chests. Where's the storage? Storage, where, come on. Additional upgrade points, button upgrade, damage bar, depth, eternity, nesting, advanced nesting, quick deposit, precise quick deposit, compression, small compression, decompression, basic filter, fuzzy filter, or dictionary filter, mod specific filter, void filter, advanced filter, mining filter, restocking, and an upgrade core. Well, how do we make this storage upgrade backpack then? It does say that's a storage. Okay. Can we not make this one then? Let's see. Well, what's the difference? Additional upgrade points. Additional upgrade points. It's the same thing. Something is a little bit screwy here. Okay, well, any way you look at it, I do not have any emeralds. So I am going to have to go out to the area where the village is. Now, one problem that I ran into, and I don't know what happened here, my map disappeared. But I do know that I need to go off in this direction to get to the village, and I can pick up villagers with a golden lasso, which I happen to have one, so I'm going to make up another one of these. Recipe for those is same as usual, string, gold nuggets, and some XP. So I'm going to make up a couple more of those. I'll go grab some villagers, and we'll start doing some trading. So I have brought back several villagers from the village. I have a couple of them here that I am really happy about getting. I have a librarian here. Not a great paper trade, but it's not bad. And he also has an Aqua Affinity book currently. Now we also have this butcher, which wants pork chops or chicken, which is good because we already have a chicken farm and we just need to get it set up better. But for the pork chops, I also went out and got a couple of pigs in golden lassos. So we'll be able to set up a farm for that as well. Now we also have this alchemist villager, and I'm not sure what the purpose of this guy is aside from giving us potions. So they're awfully expensive on the potions, but yeah, he's a possibility. We also have a toolsmith, which we can use coal, and yeah, we get some tools from him. And then of course the last one, the cleric here, we can use rotten flesh to get emeralds. And so yeah, we may do some trading with that guy later on after we get like a mob farm set up or something like that, but currently we are going to be mainly focused on the librarian and the butcher. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to try to get this chicken farm set up for automatic production of chickens, and then I'm also going to set up the pigs into a farm. And to do that, we are going to be setting up an automatic feeder from Actually Additions. Now this thing takes a couple of golden carrots, which aren't bad to make, and some basic coils, which take Restonia crystal. Now this stuff is made by running redstone through the atomic reconstructor. We can also use redstone blocks to make that if we want to do the block of Restonia crystal. But I have found a little bit of that in chests, so I do have a little bit already, but we're going to be setting that up. Now, one thing that I've found in looking through the book from Actually Additions is that once this feeder reaches a preset number, it will stop. It says it will shut off on its own to prevent lag or animal overflow. So I don't know what that level is, but it will stop feeding after a little while. And I'm not sure if this thing needs power. I would imagine it does, which means I might have to make another coal generator. Or we could possibly go the route of the solar panel from Actually Additions, which takes some empowered stuff. So the empowered stuff, we would have to set up the display stands and empower, and I don't really have the stuff for that yet, but we'll just have to see what I can come up with. So yeah, I'm going to work on getting the chickens to automatic production, as well as pigs being automatically fed. And I guess I will see you guys in a little bit. I will probably be setting that up in one of our large circular platforms. So I'll get that set up and I'll be right back. So this is a little something that I find interesting. I made a lens of the miner. So this is made with a diamond, gold ingot, iron ingot, black quartz, emerald, lapis, nether quartz, and coal around a lens. And a lens is just black quartz with glass around it. And when we put this on the atomic reconstructor, we can then turn smooth stone blocks into ores at the cost of RF. So I think that's really cool. It is a way to basically get unlimited ores from our stone. Now you'll see right now it's not changing that one because it has a base of 60,000 RF to turn the block into an ore. It randomly selects an ore block, and based on the amount of energy, or the rarity of the ore block, is the amount of energy it's going to take. So right now we have just under 30,000 RF. I am using blocks of charcoal currently to power this thing, which produces a lot of power, but it's still very slow. But yeah, we have the ability to make basically limitless power, or limitless ores, excuse me. So the other thing is I've got this automatic feeder built. I've set it up here next to the chickens currently, and it does not require power to operate. So that is a nice thing. I seem to remember finding that out in Sky Factory, but we are currently breeding the chickens, and we should be able to get an awful lot of chickens in here after a little while. And then I will need to figure out some way to kill them in such a way that I get raw chicken. Now I know there are a few things available in the game that I can use for that. Mechanical user would definitely be an option. We could put a sword in there, but I'm not sure what I want to do with that. Now I also need to set one of these up for the pigs, and I think we're going to use the simple vanilla mechanic that allows baby animals to fall through a smaller space than their adult counterparts. And I did not realize there was a spawnable space up here, but we're going to use that and allow the baby animals to drop into a lower area that we can then come by and kill them manually once the animals grow up. So I am going to work on getting that set up. Now I do have this platform filled in with the hardened concrete, but I did not put the ring around the inside of it, and I guess I had that set up to see if I had everything lit up. So you can see we have this large area that is filled in. I will need to put the ring on the inside that will say where the hexagon goes. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to work on. And then also I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to lay this out. But this pad here, I think I'm going to use that for the animal production. So we will probably have to set up some farms in that as well for the breeding, because we will need to be able to have seeds for the chickens and carrots for the pigs. And for that we will want to make a farmer. Now where did that thing go? The farmer, right here. So the farmer from Actually Editions, and this is a pretty easy one. It takes Inori crystal blocks, seeds, and an iron casing, which this is just some iron ingots. So it is going to take a little bit of iron. I have 4 Inori blocks on me, and I have a little bit more of the iron ingots here. So let's just see if we have everything that we need to make this. So we can make our iron casing, and we don't have the seeds on us. I'm just going to grab some of these, and there we go, farmer. So this guy I know does take power. So we are going to have to set up a generator for this. And I don't know if I want to keep using the coal generator. What I may go on to instead is oil generation. So the oil generator here, it is made with cobblestone, iron casings, and canola. And the canola we can use to make oil using a couple of things here. We have the canola press and the fermenting barrel. And I've never messed with this, so yeah, that could be kind of interesting. All of the information is in the Actually Editions book. But I don't know that I want to put the power generation on this pad. I'll have to see what we have available for cables and things like that. But that's my plans for power generation right now. So at the moment, I think I'm going to work on trying to figure out where the various farming areas on this pad are going to be. I'll set up the farmer with carrots and wheat. I'll probably set up another one of these as well. You know, get two of them, one for carrots and one for wheat. And then I suppose I'll be back after that. I got to check and see how we're doing for length on the episode. And, this is the second ender pearl that I have gotten there. Now, I've got a lot more of these ender lilies. While I was out getting the pigs, I was breaking a huge amount of grass up in this area here. We have this large savanna area, and I was just breaking huge amounts of grass out here, and that's how you get the ender lily seeds. And yeah, I have quite a few of those now, so I'm really looking forward to when we have a large harvest of these. But they do take a long time to grow. But I'm going to get to that stuff, and then I will be back in a little bit, and we'll see what's going on. Well, I just checked on the length of the episode, and we are actually past time. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about what I could work on here, or if you want to just say hi, be sure to leave that down in the comments. Check out the description for the link for downloading this pack, as well as a link to Quix's YouTube channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!